So unless anybody's got any more comments on Isaiah 46, the chapter or the verse itself, I'm pretty much done there. All I wanted to do, the purpose of going to that chapter was twofold. First of all, just to do a simple exercise to see when we go to a Bible passage, some Bible words, whatever it is, how do we go about constructing those things upon a line? And when we did that, obviously all the board work's rubbed out. You can see how we began to make mistakes in our methodology about locating things. Welcome, my sister. Sorry I didn't say hello to you. And I think the way people were approaching the problem was very complicated. So I think we should have just seen it in a very simple way. You go to chapter 45, chapter 47, and it's tucked in between those two chapters, so you could see what was going on. So when we did that, we could construct the line. I keep on looking back because I keep on thinking it's there and it's not. So then we started talking about who Cyrus represents. Cyrus is the Mede and Persia, a king of the Medes and Persians. The Medes and Persians are symbolic of the United States, and we can begin to make an application of this history into 1798. So does everybody feel confident that they could do that? That you could take this history, these chapters, understand first of all where you are, and then take yourself or someone else to 1798. Who couldn't do that?
Chapter 46 now?
Yeah, just generally, not it wouldn't be in any detail. I just want to make sure how would you go about doing that? The methodology. Does not everybody feel confident how to do that? So we've got the destruction of Babylon would be here. So that's the destruction of Babylon. Are we okay with that? And this is Isaiah, and Isaiah is where? It's way back down here. This is Manasseh, and this is Isaiah. It's IAH. So this is Isaiah, and we're saying this is in the period of darkness before their captivity. We know that. It's right at the beginning of this history. So here we'd have Zedekiah, and then you'd have 70-year captivity. So we've got 70 years. I'm just doing this in the generic sense. I know it doesn't hit from Zedekiah. I'm just using that as an approximation. Then Babylon's going to be destroyed. Yeah. So this is chapter 45. Cyrus rising up. Chapter 47, the prediction of Babylon, and verse 46, verse 11, calling a ravenous bird from the east. So this ravenous bird is whom? Cyrus. So we're here we are at Cyrus. So how do we get from here to 1798? How would we go about doing that? Mr. Sheriff? Sorry? You had your hand up. You didn't have your hand up?
Yeah.
You did or you didn't? Sorry.
Yes. Oh.
Sorry?
Because of the 1260, because of the 7 years representing a 1260.
Okay, so we need to make that connection. So we're going to take the 70 years equals the 1260. Anything else? 2520. What would that do? The 2520 is here, 677. So it wouldn't be the 2520 that would do it.
Fall of Babylon typify the fall of the people.
Sorry?
Fall of Babylon typify the fall of the people.
Okay, so you're going to mark this event here, which is Cyrus, which is the fall, as the deadly wound. Jonathan?
This 1260 being parallel to the 70, does this mean that we have the 7 Persian kings as well at the beginning of the 1260? Could this be? I'm just a thought.
So the 7 Persian kings are here.
Oh no, not the Persian kings. The last Jewish king. Sorry. From Manasseh to Zedekiah.
So you've got here.
Question.
So we'll do this. The 1260 is 1798 to 1844, and you've got 7 thunders. So if we went this way, what prophecy would this be, Sister Tess?
Where are you marking
After the 7 kings of Persia. Okay, so it's the 2300 days that we'd pick up. The 2300 would link these two histories together, and we know that the 70 is typifying the 1260. So we can make that connection. So that's how we'd get to 1798. So this history would teach us about 1798. And Cyrus is the king of the Mede and Persians, and he's symbolized as being what? Or the nation? A sheep. Yeah? So we've got a sheep marked here, and what have we got marked in 1798? Again, another sheep. This one's a baby sheep, a lamb, and this is Revelation 13:11, and this one is Daniel. Sorry? Daniel 8 verses. Got to shout out louder.
3 and 20.
3 and 20. Are we all okay with that? So remember that. So Cyrus is so powerful, he's going to represent 2 things. What does he represent? A destroyer. So we've got a destroyer and a deliverer, or a restorer. Yes? A restorer. He's going to restore God's people, he's going to deliver them, and this group are going to restore and deliver, and he's going to do destroy as well. Where are you going to be restored back into? Sorry?
Sorry.
I didn't hear what you said.
Jerusalem.
Yeah? So I'm going to say he gets restored back to the glorious land. So we've got the glorious land marked here. Yeah? So the role that he has here is the destroyer. So he's going to get this, he's going to destroy Babylon here, and he's going to then, if we're going to take all of this symbology and bring it over to here, what we're expecting to happen here in 1798. The same thing. And who destroys? France. This is France. But he's also a deliverer. And who's going to deliver? So remember how we're making these connections together. Is that good? Yeah, I mean, understandable. It is obviously good because it's correct. Sorry? Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, do we all understand? We can all do that. Yeah. I want us to try and become familiar. So if I were to raise that and I would ask someone to come up, they'd have been able to do this. So it's connected with the seven thunders. Normally we'd go backwards. We've got seven thunders, connects to the seven Persian kings. And seven Persian kings have 3 decrees. Cyrus, Darius, Artaxerxes. And you've got 3 angels' messages, 1, 2, 3. So we've done that. And let's address Brother Jonathan's question. He wants to have 7 kings, and he wants to put them here, like this. Brother Mario, can you do that? No, yes, I'm only phrasing it that way. He's not saying he wants to. He's asking the question. So this is, I'll put a J here for Judea. 7 Judean kings. 7 Judean kings. Because this is 7 Persian kings, and I'll do the same here. You've got 7 Persian kings here. So we've got that one, and we've overlaid it on the top. What about this one? How's that going to work?
Which one?
He wants to get this, and he wants to put it here. Look, you've got 7, 77. 7, 77. Because this is 70 years, isn't it, here? Mm-hmm. Everybody agree that's 70 years? Yeah? Can you see how he's just getting this and bringing it over this way? Can you do that? Sorry?
You're asking, is that valid what you just did?
Is that valid? He's asking the question, if you're going to take this and bring it here, if you can take this and bring it here, why can't you take this and bring it here? Why can't you do that?
What about the remnant of the horns?
I don't know what that means.
The 7 horns.
Speak a little louder.
The 7 horns.
Because there were 10. 3 were taken. 7.
Yeah, with fronts. There were the 7.
You gotta speak up a little bit for that.
So she's trying to make these 7 kings 7 horns of Daniel 7.
Yeah, I'm just asking what about those?
Yeah, but you're asking what about those to see if
Yeah.
you could do that.
Yeah.
So she's making 7 Judean kings.
I'm asking.
No, you're offering a solution to his question.
Yeah.
So you're not asking.
I'm asking if it could work.
Yeah. So you're asking, is this solution good? She's offering a solution,
Yeah.
and then she's saying, is it a good solution? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to manipulate your words. I'm just saying, she's saying, so that everybody understands what she's saying. 7 Judean kings, 7 horns. That's what she's approaching at. Brother Larry.
That's what I came up with. I turned to Daniel chapter 7, and you got the 7 nations. They're going to side with the papacy and take down the 3, Ashuri, the Hurri, and the Vandals. We give you 7 kings, nations, horns.
Okay?
Is that what you're saying?
She's not saying, she's going to say, she's asking. Yes or no? Sister Terry, can you do that?
Well, the only thing that matches is the number. You couldn't match motives or actions.
So the only thing that matches is the number.
That matches.
Yeah, that matches is the number. Brother Jonathan?
No, I had 2 points in my mind. Is first of all, the 1260 is a time prophecy, and the end is, so after it are 7 kings. So at the end, from the beginning, maybe we have 7 kings before the 1260, and the other one is we mark Zedekiah at the Sunday law, and we know 538 there is a Sunday law. Was my thinking. Can it be that there is maybe, can we mark Zedekiah at 538 and therefore the 7 kings?
Does that make sense? So he's got a Sunday law here, and he's going to say this is a Sunday law. So he's going to take this and bring it here. If that made sense to anybody? I just did it badly for him. Okay, so let me read this to you.
So Zedekiah would represent Justinian.
The special light given to John, which was expressed in the 7 thunders, was a delineation of events which would transpire under the first and second angels' messages. So we'll stop there. So we're starting off here, aren't we? First and second angels' messages. So once we do that, we go to 7 Persian kings. And why would we go to 7 Persian kings? What's the connection? It's the 3 decrees, but it's not just the 3 decrees. So you've got 3 decrees.
God's people.
I don't know what that means.
Well, it's affecting God's people.
Because it's in the Bible, it's all affecting God's people.
Okay.
Because this is affecting God's people as well. So it's all God's people.
Would be the 7 thunders.
So we've got 7 thunders, and the connection is these 2300 days. It's 2300 days. What happens here? What king is this? Artaxerxes. And what's he going to do? His decree, yeah. What's his decree going to do? Sorry? He's going to finish the temple. So the temple is restored here, yes? And what's happening here in 1844? Sorry? Same thing, it's the restoration. So we're connecting these 2 histories up by the 2300 days through restoring the temple. And you've got 3 decrees that do this restoration, you've got 3 messages that do this restoration. So you've got all of that tied together. So that's how we've got this structure here connected to this structure. Then we've gone to 7 thunders here, and then we notice that there were 7 Persian kings. So that's the 7 thunders. So we're happy that this is this. Yes? Then we found that 70 years is the same as the 1260. So there's a call here to do what? To come out of Babylon. And who comes out? No, it's God's people, but there's a word that they're going to come out. A remnant. So it's a remnant that's going to come out here. So now you go to Revelation what? Where'd you go for here to here? Revelation what? Revelation, why would you, what would you,
I was thinking of the 2 witnesses, but that's got nothing to do with you.
okay, no, what would Revelation 11:13 say? Don't read the verse, just tell me the principle. Okay, but no, but we've already got, okay, so we've got a remnant here, and you've got a definition of a remnant, 11:13. But what's the verse that's coming? Because this says a remnant is doing what? Coming out. But Revelation 11:13 is not about a remnant coming out. Where do we find the remnant coming out? Someone shouted. 12:17. So this is Revelation 12:17, and this is the fulfillment of that. A remnant's coming out of Babylon. Remnant comes out of Babylon. Remnant comes out of Babylon. How do we know they're coming out of Babylon here? 1798.
End of the 1260 years persecution.
So how do you know there's a remnant coming out of Babylon here?
They're fleeing to the United States.
Sorry?
They're fleeing to the United
No,
States.
I'm not saying where they're going. I'm asking how do you know there's a remnant coming out of Babylon? We've established a remnant. How do you know they're coming out of Babylon?
They protested.
But a Bible verse. A Bible verse. It doesn't say Babylon there, does it? 14:6.
Because all the 3 angels.
So I'm asking how do we know they're coming out of Babylon? let me ask a different question. Where are they coming out from? Out of? Sorry? They're coming out of Europe. Remember that? They're coming out of Europe. So now we're saying, they're not coming out of Europe, they're coming out of Babylon. So now we're saying Europe is Babylon. So a Bible verse. Revelation 17:5. The woman that rides the beast has mystery Babylon on her forehead. So this is Babylon. It comes by two names. Actually may only come by one name. Her title is Mystery Babylon. What's her name? That's her job role. Her title is, sorry? Jezebel. Where's that?
Revelation chapter 2.
Verse.
Tyra.
Find it for us. 17?
Revelation 2.
Maybe not 17.
Verse 20.
20.
Okay, so that's, we did that before, did we? Revelation 2:20. Yeah? So this is, her name is Jezebel. Her title is Babylon, and her role in life is a mother. Can we see all of those three characteristics? So we've established now this history is intricately linked with this history. We've got multiple evidences to tie them together. It's a really strong connection between the two. So we've got a remnant coming out of Babylon, and we've got a remnant coming out of Babylon. So this remnant that's coming out of Babylon here, Brother Larry, where are they going to?
To rebuild the temple.
No, where are they going to? Not why they're going.
The glorious land.
They're going to the glorious land. What is the glorious land that they're going to?
Jerusalem. Well,
Jerusalem isn't a land.
America.
No,
Sorry.
this is back here, 538.
they're going to the promised land.
Israel.
Israel.
So they're going to Israel. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're here. You've got the remnant coming out of Babylon. Where's Babylon, Brother Larry? Here, where's Babylon? The geography. Brother Larry?
After the 1260 is in David.
Brother Bob?
You could say it's Europe, or you could say it's Italy. You know, if you look in geography.
It's certainly not Italy. It's the whole of Europe.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Revelation 7 verse 2. 17 verse 2. I think it's verse 2. It might be 1. Yep, verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk. So it's kings in the plural, not just one king. She sits upon all the seven. Okay? So this is Europe. Babylon is Europe. So if you're in Europe here, and it says come out of Babylon, where do you need to come out to? To the wilderness? No, you're in Babylon, and you need to come out of Babylon here and go into the glorious land. The glorious land is the land of Israel. So here you are in Babylon, and you need to come out and go into the glorious land. You don't need to go into a church, you need to go into a land, the glorious land. So in 1798, God's people are going to leave Europe and go where? To America. So America is the glorious land. What church is this one, 1260? Church in the Wilderness, good. No, they're up in Seattle. They're not here. So what dispensation of the church is this, Sister Shamila? Or number?
Is it
No, you can't ask me, you tell me. You obviously you don't know, but don't say is it.
Ephesus?
Sorry?
Ephesus.
So, no, this isn't Ephesus.
Probably Smyrna then. I'm not
Okay.
entirely sure.
Sister Sarah?
Sardis?
This one here? Because we said Jezebel.
Yeah.
We said Jezebel, 220. Sorry?
Thyatira.
Thyatira, is that okay, Sister Chimera? Because she's marked 220,
Yeah.
Jezebel. So this is number 4, Thyatira. We're okay with that? And so this church that comes out of Babylon and goes into the glorious land is what church? Number 5, Sardis. And Brother Richard, what does Sardis mean? It has a number of meanings, but what does it mean? The one that we want to pick up.
Having a brain freeze. I don't
Sorry?
remember. Having a brain freeze. I don't remember.
Okay, Sister Terry?
I can't remember.
Brother Luke?
Is it
Red
remnant?
ones?
Sorry?
Is it remnant?
Remnant. So my sister said the red ones. So the red one is the strongest definition of it.
Come out.
So you said remnant, did you say?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
probably wrong.
So it's remnant, the red ones, the escaping ones, or those that come out, or those that remain. So why would we go for those that remain? What would that mean? Those that remain. Because what happened to the rest of them? Sorry?
They came out.
They were what?
They were killed.
She was drunk with the
Blood of the saints.
the blood of the saints. They've all been killed. This is the remnant that's got left over. Yeah? So, Sardis means the ones that are left over, the remnant. Why would they be called the red ones? Why the red one?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I was going to say because they're all blood splattered, but I don't think that's the reason. Maybe they're washed in the blood. Maybe these people are washed in the blood. But these are the remnants. Sardis means the remnant. Those who are left over, those who escape out of Babylon. So we've done that. So this is just refreshing review of what we've done. Refreshing. So if they're coming out of Babylon, Sister Susan, they're coming out of Babylon. Who told them to come out? Pass. Brother Jonathan, did you catch that? No. Okay. Brother Larry at the back. Who told him to come out of Babylon?
In 1798?
Yeah.
I was thinking, I don't.
Sister Cheryl? Brother Jason.
First angel?
The first angel. So an angel comes down from heaven and says, come out of Babylon. Revelation 14, verse 6. But it doesn't sound like Revelation 14, verse 6. Sorry?
Isn't it the second angel?
Is it? I thought the second angel says go into Babylon, not come out of Babylon. Revelation 14, verse 8. Do you agree? Yes?
Babylon is fallen.
Yeah, like, what does that mean, Babylon is fallen?
But isn't the fourth a repeat of the second, and the fourth says to come out?
I'd go to Revelation 18, verse 4, which we would not normally mark as the third, which you want to mark it as the second. Brother Larry?
The first angel has all three angels contained in it, doesn't it?
First angel has all three contained in it. And
And in verse 6, it says, it's to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. And they're going, maybe I'm stretching, but in Revelation 12,
sounds like
they're
it.
going to the earth.
The earth isn't worldwide.
Uh,
But, okay, so we did cover that in previous classes.
Okay.
So it's a bit unfair to you. So, what was the question? Yeah, who told them to come out? It's the first angel. Okay? But it's not really the first angel, it's the third angel, isn't it? It's the third angel's message. Come out of her, my people. Yes?
Yes.
Sister Michelle? You had a question?
I was just saying, if you said it's the first, but not really the first, it's the third. I was just confused with that terminology.
The third angel is the angel that brings judgment.
Right.
Yes?
So why are you saying it's the first if it's really the third?
Because the first angel arrives in 1798, not the third angel. Third angel we normally place in 1844. Because you have 1, 2, 3, that would be the third angel here. And you've got a 1 here, which is 1798. So it has to be the first angel, because that's the only angel you've got in 1798. There are no other angels.
You're just saying it is the first.
It's the
even
first
though
angel.
The verbiage in the Bible says that it's the third, but it is the first.
When you say the verbiage, which verse would you
Just
go?
where it says in,
Which Revelation?
it says to come out of Babylon.
I don't know which verse you're in.
Verse 8.
No, that's not the third angel. That's the second angel, 14:8.
Oh, right. I'm all confused. Just move along.
It's difficult because we're just reviewing what we've already done. I'm not teaching at the moment. Sister Shamela?
Sorry, it's because of something I said, and I've always understood it to be the other angel of Revelation 18 is it's a repeat of the second, and they're both
Verse 4?
18:4, yes.
So
Coming
all of that is the
backwards.
second angel.
Not all.
Which bit isn't? You've got 4 verses.
Sorry, yes, all of verse 4, but not all of.
I mean, the
So
verses
18:4.
1, 2, 3 and 4, all of that is the second angel.
No, 18:4.
That's the second angel.
That was what I understood.
And 18:1, 18:3, second angel. 18:2, second angel.
That would be.
18:2 is the second angel, isn't it? Because it says Babylon is fallen.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so that you've got 2 the second angel, 3 the second angel, 4 is the
Yeah.
second angel, and what's 1? You're going to have to say it's the second angel then, aren't you? Sorry? That's the first. How could verse 1 be the first when it says the angel that comes down is the one that says Babylon is fallen? Sorry?
The third.
The first, verse 1 is the third.
It wouldn't be the right order then, so I don't know what to say, sorry.
Okay. So I'm saying that verse 4, third angel's message, come out of Babylon, and it's the same situation that's happening here, 1798, the coming out of Babylon. So to address Sister Michelle's question, is that the first angel and the third angel have all the same characteristics. They both are addressing what issue? The issue of judgment. It's all about judgment. Okay, coming back to Brother Jonathan's question. Can we do this thing here? And the answer is, if we were going to do that here, first of all, we know that the 7 thunders are what? Under the first and second angels. So you have to, in this history here, we've got the first and the second. So it works here. It works here. And does it work here? Do you have the first and second angels in this history? Is that correct? What king do you want to put at number 2? Sister Antonisha? What king do you want to put at number 2?
What king?
King. You got Manasseh, Zedekiah. What one are you going to get at number 2? Sister Olivine?
King.
King.
Yeah.
Anybody want to disagree with that?
Spell it.
C-H-I-N.
Chin.
Yes. I disagree.
Chin.
Yeah, so its pronunciation is Jehoiakim. Who do you want to put there, Sister Terry?
Jehoiakim.
You want to put Kim. not kin. Okay, you tell me why, Sister Terry. So we've got Kim or kin.
Because of the book of Daniel, doesn't he mark the second angel?
So this is Daniel 1:1,
Yeah.
and you're saying Daniel 1:1. Who's the second angel? I mean Daniel, Daniel himself. Have a think, Sister Olivine. Why kin?
Ezekiel.
That's not going to be enough for most of the people in this room and all the people who watch. You can't say Ezekiel.
One 19th of kin.
Sorry, E-Z-E-K.
Kin is
Ezekiel what?
anointed twice.
Who?
Kin. K-I-N.
No.
C-H-I-N.
Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Why? What proof is Ezekiel? Stop
He's-
for a second. Sister Terry,
Yeah, she's right.
you tell us why she's right.
Because Ezekiel is the second, Daniel is the first.
Okay, so you're saying Daniel is the first and Ezekiel is the second.
Which is kin.
Can you tell us why that is?
Oh.
Why is Daniel the first and Ezekiel the second? Sister Olivine. Oh, Brother Larry. Brother Larry.
Because it's in verse 2.
What book? What verse?
Ezekiel 2. Ezekiel 1:2.
Amen.
Daniel 1:1.
Amen.
And that, how we,
So Daniel 1, 1.
Ezekiel 1 verse 2.
1 verse 2.
Okay, so we'll stop there for a second then.
Jeremiah 1 verse 2.
Jeremiah. Is that what you're going to say, Sister Terry?
Yeah, I didn't think that was the answer you wanted.
No, it wasn't the answer I wanted, but we'll go with that to begin with.
Okay.
So that's why she's saying Ezekiel, but Ezekiel doesn't tell us about kin yet. So we've got that. Well, maybe it does. Brother Johnson, what does all that mean?
I have a big question mark.
Sorry?
I have a big question
Okay,
mark.
let's go to the verses then.
Um,
Read verse 1 and tell us why they did that.
Daniel 1:1.
Yeah.
In the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it.
Okay, so before I do that, list out the names of the kings.
The last seven.
The last 7.
Manasseh, I think it's Amos, Josiah, Jehoiakim, or am I wrong? Am I missing one?
Josiah.
Joahaz,
Okay.
Jehoiakim, Jehoiachin,
Kim, Kin,
Zedekiah.
Zedekiah. Okay, so let's put them in order. The first, second, and third. Yeah? That's the order of their reigns. First, second, third. Okay? So in Daniel 1:1, who is the king? Kim. Okay? Sister Tess, Ezekiel 1:2. And Brother Luke, Jeremiah 1:3. Jehoiakim. Brother Luke.
He came also in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, unto the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, unto the carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month.
Okay, so it ends with Zedekiah. So you've got verse 1, 2 and 3, the first king, the second king and the third king. So Jehoiakim is connected with Daniel, and Jehoiakim is with Ezekiel, and Zedekiah is with Jeremiah, and he's the first, he's the second, and he's the third. So at that most basic level, we're saying that the second angel, the king here, would be Jehoiakim. Is that okay? Everybody agree with that? You're going to let us just get away with that simply.
You would have one.
It's not. We're not even quite at the answer yet.
Daniel 1:20.
I just put 1 with Manasseh, and now I've got 1 with Kim, and no one's going to object to that. You're objecting, Brother Larry? It was
I
your
don't
idea.
understand it. It seems wrong. Something seems
It
not
was your
right.
idea.
That's right.
It was her idea, and
Nah,
I seconded it.
You did this.
I
You
did
did
that,
this.
yeah.
So she didn't have that. Yours.
Well,
Me?
No,
I got
no,
it.
him. It's him. So
okay.
you tell us how you're going to reconcile this.
How am I going to reconcile that?
That was your plan.
I'd have to study some more, I guess.
Brother Richard, get him out.
If, on another line, well, in the line of the Kings, I know we've placed Kim at 9/11, and Kim would be, if when you look at him at 9/11, then you also have the first angel there being empowered, the second angel arriving. So that's on first and second there.
Is that enough help for you?
No.
What did he just say? 1,
9/11?
1,
Empower.
1.
Empower.
Arrival.
Or
1A.
1A.
Yeah.
1
So you're correct.
Oh, I see.
E.
I see. I see.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different way mark. They're not just the same way mark. So we tidied that bit up. Okay, so coming back to Sister Olivine's. So we're not saying it's Kim. We're saying it's kin. So we've got kin tied up with Ezekiel. So we've tidied that up. More evidence.
1, you have Ezekiel 1 beginning with the 5th day of
The 4th month.
4th month. That's midnight, so that's the second angel, midnight. Then you
What's
also
that? Second
have
angel is midnight.
midnight with the empowerment, with the arrival of the. We know the empowerment of the second angel is by the, but this just seem like with 1A, 1E.
Does anybody know what she's talking about?
Yes, well no.
No, they don't know what you're talking about.
He begins at, Ezekiel begins at midnight, 1. So
Wait
that's
there, wait
2E.
there. Ezekiel
Yes,
is midnight.
begins at midnight.
Sister Sarah, you agree with that? Ezekiel begins at midnight. Do you know what she's talking about?
Ezekiel 1:1 with the 5th day of the 4th month. That's midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You understand that? So we've got the 5th day of the 4th month. We have that correct. Now you're going to say this is what?
2E.
2E. Even though you know 2E is the first day of the 5th month.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll let you off with that one. So now, what we say?
And then you have the 2 anointings of kin.
Okay,
At
so
8 and 18.
we've got Ezekiel, which is, we've tied that up with kin here.
Yeah.
And Ezekiel comes in on the 5th day of the 4th month, and it's 2E.
In what fractal are you looking? Because midnight, didn't we say this morning or yesterday it's 3E?
We're looking at
3A.
April, July, August, October. Sunday law, 9/11, midnight, midnight cry. In the right line, August, you have the midnight cry, and she said this was the empowerment of the second angel. So Sister Olivine has got this one and this one, squished them together and said that all of this is 2E. Because this was 2A. So she's marking this as 2E. So she's done that. So you've got 1E, 2E. What happens at Zedekiah? Is it like some kind of a pronouncement that's going to happen to him? It's the what? Executive in judgment. So this is E. So these three are the lines of the E's. 1E, 2E, 3E. So we've got consistency here. So you know that Jehoiakim is marking 2E there. That's good. So one more bit, which is a bit of an obscure truth that some people, if you didn't read Chronicles and Kings, you wouldn't pick up, that Jehoiakim is anointed 2 times. First time by who? Which nation? Who anoints him the first time? No, he is the southern tribe.
So he's anointed there?
Brother, sisters.
He's anointed by his own nation because his father was taken captive.
Oh, well, yeah, so his own, that's what you meant, yeah? His dad's going to go off to have a fight, and he says, you're the king, in case something happens to me. And then,
He's anointed.
when his father dies, the Egyptians come back, and they say, you're not going to become king. Who's going to take the throne? Who's going to take the throne?
Is he a brother?
Jehoiah has. Then the Babylonians come and say, you're not going to become king. It's going to be Jehoiakim.
Kim and Kin.
Kim, and then after Jehoiakim, the Babylonians going to make Jehoiakim. Yes? So we've got Jehoiakim where? This one here. Where's this Jehoiakim here? This one here. C 2E. We okay with that one?
Yeah.
That's what she's just marked. So he's going to be made king by his own people, and what event happened to trigger that off? His dad went off to a battle, and what happened? He died. Why did he die? What's the background of that story? The archers kill him.
That's right.
So we've got archers. What else do we have?
He's hiding or something.
He's disguised. And what else? Why is he even there? Rebellion. So we've got rebellion, we've got hypocrisy, disguised, hypocrite, and the archers kill him. So the archers are a symbol of Islam. A hypocrite is not a, Matthew 25, is not a, sorry? There's no such thing as a true virgin. You're either a virgin or you're not. Just think about the literal, you're either a virgin or you're not. So he's not a virgin, and he gets killed by Islam. Why? Because he's in rebellion, disobedience. All these are characteristics of what way, Mark? 9/11. So let me take all that out. So here we've got Jehoiakim 2A. Yeah? So he's made king here, then he's thrown off. I don't think he's even actually rules. He's anointed as the king, and he gets taken off, and then he becomes the king here. And what's the time span between these two dates? 10 years. He's 8 and he's 18. So we have all the characteristics that number 2 is Jehoiakim. You should all be happy and like thinking, this is great. Everyone's just like, so what? What difference does it make? You can barely see. You've got to sit at the front here. Which writing can you not see? Don't say all of it, because that would be no. You need to do that. What Sister Lisa does.
Use the phone.
Get the phone.
Camera app.
Okay, so we've got we've got 7 thunders, and we've got delineation of events under the first and second angel's messages. So now you'd have to demonstrate that pre-1260 that you'd have a first and second angel's messages here. So that's what you'd have to demonstrate. So this takes you to, you'd have to have a 1, a 2, and a 3 here. So you'd have to do that to be able to create a structure this way. So that's one thing you'd have to do. Then you'd have to show that the history here was the typification of this history. You have to do that. And then you'd have to get this history and be able to drop it underneath. So you'd have to find 7 waymarks or 7 thunders with an everlasting gospel that all precedes the 1260 to do all of that. If you were going to do this and bring it here. So I'm not saying you're wrong to do that. I'm not saying it was in your position. I think it's wrong to do that unless someone can really stretch their minds to get that to work. I'm not sure how we'd go about doing that. But I would say that if we did it...
To use Cyrus.
Sorry?
You'd have to use, not Cyrus, seed power authority. Power seed great authority. Those 3. But that would be stretching, like...
So if we did this, we've got 677 and 1844. Now we'd bring in Sister Tessie's 2520. And what do we have here? Seven thunders, 7 Judean kings, and on this side you've got 7 thunders, which is, this is 1798, and this is 586. So this wouldn't be 220. No. So all I'm saying is you can develop a structure this way, which is a chiasm, an alpha and omega, and that's how you'd get this. But if you're going to do that, you'd cut this and bring it underneath. I don't think you can do this, what you wanted to do. Not that you wanted it, but you're asking a question. Unless you can go back in here and find that. And I don't think you can. And the reason I don't think you can is because 1798 itself is a what? A 2520. The 2520 is persecution or punishment or treading down. And if I could express it this way, that the Hazon and the Mareh have themes about them. And what's the theme of the Hazon? Sorry? Okay, I'm going to say it's the problem, and I'm going to say this is the solution. And I'm saying when you start thinking about it this way, you realize that the Hazon is dealing with these time prophecies, and the Mareh is dealing with the solution to these time prophecies, or the solution to the problem. So this is persecution or punishment, and this is restoration. And if you think of it that way, before the 1260, it's just a continuation of punishment. That it doesn't seem to be a restoration, because the restoration is what? What creates the restoration? Sorry? The reform line, and the reform line is the Revelation 14, 6 and 7 is the everlasting gospel. So it's the gospel that's doing this work here, this work of restoration. So 1798 begins the work of restoration. The solution begins here, and it's all done by 1844. So this history here, in this context, would be the Mareh, and the punishment would be these 2520. And I don't think tucked in between here somewhere, which would be this history, if you're going to do that, would be some kind of solution that's happening, because it's just a continuous punishment, and it gets sorted out at the end. just like it does in Daniel 2, Daniel 7, Daniel 8, Daniel 11. Or they all end with a restoration. They all have this theme about them. The problem, which is punishment, rebellion, sin, and then it gets solved at the end. Not in between, because you'd have to have a gospel here. I don't think we can see that up to 1260, because what's happening here is a constant degradation of the affairs of God's people. Because one more point about that, if this is the gospel we're talking about, this is number 4. What is this number that precedes it? Number 3. And the third church is Pergamos, which is compromise. So at a time when the church is compromising, it's not being restored because it's about to get punished. Who had the hand up? Does someone have the hand up?
You said that it's only solved at the end, but they come out of captivity.
Where? Here.
After the 7 years.
Which is here. That's here, yes?
Yeah, the question.
Because I'm using the 2520 as one. The Hazon isn't just a 2520. I'm saying the Hazon is a 2520, it's a 1260, it's the 2300 days. It's all those time prophecies which are all some form of punishment. So the Hazon is the 70 years, the Hazon is the 1260, it's the 2300, it's the 2520. All of those are Hazons.
So then,
But you have periods of restoration between the 300 and the 2520.
It can have those themes with them. So the theme of the 2300 days is the theme of restoration, but it's still a time period where God's people are being punished and they're not being restored. The restoration hasn't begun. The restoration begins here in 1798. It doesn't begin before that, even though the theme of the 2300 days is going to bring you to restoration. Someone had their hand up?
What just came to my mind as you were saying, and I get that we have to find a everlasting gospel and a reform line before 1260, and you were saying that's not the time for there's punishment, but on the other side, during the 7 Jewish kings, the time there was also as well compromise and all that stuff, and they were getting about to punish. So I don't know. And we find an everlasting gospel in that time period and all that stuff.
So yeah, as I said, I can't think of off my head what that would be.
Okay.
Which is why I said you have to find that.
Okay. So it's we should study it. Maybe there is something. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I didn't throw it out when you said it. Sister Tess, you look distressed. You're lost. Too much.
the Mare,
Yes.
can you go more into that?
I don't know.
Why I ask is, I understand the concept with the 2300 days being a part of the Kazon, because it's a part of the 2520. But then with the Mare, doesn't it begin with that 7 years, the 1 week? The 70 weeks and the 70th week. Is that 70th week, is that the Mare?
So at a broad level, the 490, Daniel chapter 9, is the Hazon, and the last week, the restoration, is the Mare.
That's what I'm
Yes.
asking. But then now I can just use that to fit.
So normally we mark the Mare as a singular point.
But it's the entire
So-
reform.
And it's correct to do that. I'm not saying it's not correct.
No, I understand that.
Just for the other people, because we do this. Is it the 8th day? So we have 9/11, midnight, and midnight cry. Where's the Mare vision? Where do we normally put the Mirror vision on this?
The angel comes down.
So we put it here. Why, Sister Shamila?
Because that's where the character is manifested.
What is the Mirror vision? It's not a
Um,
manifestation of your character.
No, it's not the.
So how are you making it at midnight?
That's to do with the.
What's the
Basic
date?
base.
What's the date?
So
The date.
the date. I thought there was no time setting.
Of course there's time setting.
I don't understand what you mean by date.
What's it, Larry?
Midnight.
April 19th, 18th.
Oh, that date.
Not
The
April.
Millerite history.
That's April.
July.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I didn't see that.
The
I
what?
thought that said
July
9/11.
21st.
So it's the 21st.
Does that not say 9/11?
That's 9/11.
So how can you put a date there?
What's this date?
No, the one for midnight, because after.
Yeah, what's this date?
No, the one midnight.
I know, but I'm asking what this date is.
That's April
So this is the 19th.
19th.
Yeah.
April 19th. Yeah.
This is the 21st. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is the 21st. So if you go to Daniel 9, how long's Daniel been fasting for?
21 days.
21 days brings you here. So we've got 21. From here to here is 21 days. So you've got 21 days, the 21st. So if it's 21 days, what date is this? 19th. What day is it though? It's Ezra 7:9.
First day of the first month.
So this is the first day of the first month. So this, what day is this? No, it says it right here. He's been fasting for 21 days. It's the 21st. No, it's the first day of the first month. Keep up, I'm jumping from one thing to another too quickly. I know that.
That's why it's not
If this is the first day of the first month, so 21 days later takes you to the 21st day of the first month. I've jumped calendars back and forth. I know it's like gives me a headache. Sister Shimon, does that make sense? This is the 19th of April. 19th of April is the first day of the first month. This is the 21st of July. But according to Daniel chapter 10, verse 1 and 2, 3 maybe, it's 21 days. So 21 days means this is the 21st day. In 1844, it's the 21st day of July, but I'm just picking the 21st day. Then I'm going to go back to biblical reckoning. It's the first day of the first month. So this must be the 21st day of the first month. Yeah. So that's why this is midnight. So we put the Mirror vision here normally. So at that level, it's just a point in time, a singular point. You see Christ, and then you have an experience. You have the Mirror experience. Yeah. But at another level, if you're going to come out and look at this in a really small scale, then where would you place the Mirror? Because it wouldn't be here, would it? Where would you place it? Because all of these lines would just collapse into a singular point. Let me do that for you. 1798. 1844. What happens in 1844? The third angel's message comes. Third angel's message is running through history. And then what happens? No less a personage than is going to do what? It's going to come down with the little book, Revelation 10. So this is 9/11. But it's not Revelation 10, it's Revelation 18. Revelation 10 and Revelation 18, same angel. So you've got this angel come down, and it's Christ. No less the personage than Christ, and Christ is the Mareh vision. So you can put the Mareh right here. So the Mareh vision is the very end when everything gets sorted out in a singular point in time. But as you get into that history, that singular point becomes a period of time. So that's why we place the Mareh here, and everything that in this history is the Hazon. So what perfects character? The Mareh or the Hazon? It's the Hazon does it. By definition it has to, because you've got to get your character sorted out before midnight. It's the Hazon vision.
How would the problem fix the problem? Wouldn't it be the solution?
At one level, the Mareh is all of this history.
Right, okay.
But at another level, it's right here.
Yeah. So it's
Everything has been sorted out by the time you get to midnight.
period and a point with Mareh.
Depending on how you're going to view the problem. So by the time you get to here, what happens to Daniel? Well, what was Daniel? What did he feel about himself here? What did he have that he said about himself? He had comeliness. What is comeliness? Like cool, handsome, suave, sophisticated. He thinks he's something here, and then all of it gets stripped away here, which is the solution that he needs. Yeah? So I've just made it sound negative, but it's not negative at all. Because this man is perfect from back here, 89. He's perfect all the way through. It's definitely by 9/11. So he doesn't have any sin, this comeliness, whatever it is. Okay, so we sorted that out. What is the Mareh vision anyway? Face-to-face encounter with
God.
With Christ.
Christ,
Yeah? So when do you have this face-to-face encounter with Christ? 9/11, isn't it? It's Revelation 10. Revelation 18. A mighty angel, no less than the personage of Christ. Sorry?
The looking glass, you have the Mara experience because the Mara, so you have the Mara.
No, the Mara is the experience what you have, but I'm saying when you get the Mareh.
But that's what I'm saying, you have to, it's cause and effect, isn't it?
No, that's this, that's MM. Cause and effect. I'm saying when do you see the Mareh? Because if this is the Hazon and this is the Mareh, I'm saying when do you first have a glimpse of Christ?
9/11.
Here. And then you have an experience. So what is it about this, if we're going to say it's a glimpse of Christ, because you had a glimpse of Christ back here. We know that by definition we did. And Hazon is what? Punishment. How do you get people to be punished? Nations have to rise up to do a work. Do we see a nation rising up here for 9/11? What nation is that? Sorry? Islam doesn't punish.
It doesn't punish.
Kings of the earth. What nation is falling?
United States.
The United States is beginning to fall. And what nations is beginning to rise? It's the rise and fall of nations. So you've got the rise and fall of nations here. What do you have in this history here? You have nations rising and falling. So you have the Hazon here and the Mareh. You have the Hazon and Mareh. So even though we compartmentalise them here, correctly so, you have to still realise that you've got the Mareh and the Hazon doing what? Running concurrently. Concurrent, parallel. It's everywhere you look. If you don't understand the subject of concurrent running, you have problems.
What's the difference then between the Mara at 9/11 and the one at midnight?
Beginning of the process at the end of the process.
But there has to be a difference though.
Why?
Because the experience at the end is more packs more of a punch.
Maturity.
You're going to say it comes to its perfection here?
For the priest,
So I'm saying when it says it comes to its perfection, perfection means what?
man, you know.
Completion. Doesn't mean better.
That's why I'm asking what's the difference. Why is it that we place such emphasis?
Where? Here?
Yeah.
It depends who you ask. I'm placing much emphasis on this one. You're placing much emphasis on this one. So I'm asking you, why are you doing that?
Because you taught me to.
See? Well answered.
All your fault.
You could say Daniel's experience at the in Daniel 9 is a precursor to Daniel 10. It's the same. He had an encounter in Daniel 9, and his comeliness was turned into corruption after his study, which brought on his prayer.
But
He marked that at 9:11.
So why am I teaching you this for then? She's just given you the answer. So you should, Sister Terry's marking chapter 9 at 9:11, if I understood you correctly. And what's his experience there at 9:11? What's he trying to do? He's what? Trying to understand.
Yeah.
What's he doing here? I think verse 4. He understands. So if you ask him what the difference between this one is and this one, is that here he doesn't understand fully, but here he does. He's born here.
And there he's a man. At midnight.
If you want to, he's grown up.
Because Brother Larry said maturity.
Yes.
And maturity, there he's trying to at 9:11, but at midnight he says he has understanding of the thing, and he has understanding of the vision. So he has matured.
In his understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this maturity, his understanding of what?
Of the vision.
The vision of what?
Both they has own.
But what's he looking at?
He's-
Sorry?
Christ.
Christ. So if you looked at some stars now over here at 9:11, you know, they're all little dots. Not very exciting. You put a telescope to them, a good telescope, here, you know, you see those pictures of NASA that they've got. Do you use the word like you're floored or you stand in awe? Yeah, it just takes your breath away. Because what you thought you saw here, and you saw the very same thing as you're seeing here, is something that's totally different. You see it in its glory, in its completeness, but it's the same thing that you're seeing. So it's the same experience that you're having. In fact, I've just marked it here and here, but it's a continual. Amen. It's a continual experience of falling dead every time you see some glorious truth, until you get and you think, it can't get any better than it is now. The organisation, the nature of man, can't get any better than this, can it? Because we're saying this is a completed work. Once we've done this, the church triumphant's ready. And then by the time we get to here, there's going to be this great revelation of everything that we've already been studying, and we're going to see it in a light that's so clear, we're going to think, this is amazing. It's the same thing, because we're not teaching anything different. All I'm doing here is the same thing that Sister Terry's doing when she did the Passover and the foot washing, or she's saying, let's go look at Daniel 2, 7, 8, 11, and you just take the different themes. We're just picking one of those themes and we're looking at it. And you see the implications of what it means, but it's just one theme. But when we get to here, and all those themes overlaid properly and understood clearly, then we're going to realise what our message was really about. Because this vision of Christ here, what do you actually think is going to happen here? You're in your bed at 1 o'clock in the morning and you see an angel at the bottom of your room, or you see Christ. What is this Maria vision that you're having? Where are you finding it? Where are you finding it, Sister Terry? In the Bible. And is there any Bible verses that you haven't read? No. Because what books are you supposed to be going into? Daniel, Revelation. How many chapters are there altogether? Yeah, 34. So you're going to go into these 34 chapters, and we've all read them before. So there's nothing new under the sun. So when you come here, you're not reading some new verses. You're just looking at the same verses, and you're saying, I didn't see it in that light. Just like perhaps, when we did this morning, we go to Hebrews 8:1, what is this high priest? What's it all mean? And if someone says, oh, by the way, it's 81, the incarnation, and you look at the implications of what that means, you think, I'm humbled into the dust. Hopefully you did think that, if that is truth, because you haven't looked at those verses that way before, and the implications of that are frightening. So when we get to midnight and we understand the implications of what's actually happening, the high calling that we're expected to have, and how small we are, not going to be looking good. So in closing, I want to ask one question, which is as blasphemous as that. Yep, let's have a go at this one then. This is the Mareh vision, and what experience you having?
Mara,
The Marah. What is the Marah?
revelation of Christ.
Definition. The Marah is a... Okay, what is a looking glass?
Polished metal.
It's a mirror. So here I am, me, and here, what am I doing? Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you and praise you for your goodness and mercy. Lord, please be with us, please guide us and direct us into the most holy place experience that you have always desired your children to be in. As we consider the truth, Lord, of the experience that you want us to have, besides all the intellectual juggling and manipulation of numbers, which are designed to settle us into the truth, so that when we see through that mirror, we see you in your full glory and honour. This is our hope in Jesus' name. Amen.